The Miami Hurricanes win their season opener 86-69 over Jacksonville in Jay Lucas's first game as a coach. A lot of positives in this one. All 5 starters in double figures, led by Malik Renew with 20 points. He goes 10-12 from the line. Really showed his inside presence, and also Ernest Uday, goes for 14 points, 14 rebounds there at that center spot. So a lot of force inside. Miami only led 41-35 at halftime. It was a little dicey a little bit in the first half. As Coach Lucas mentioned, he felt like these guys were a little bit overhyped. This is in terms of just overly excited. It's the first game. They didn't have an exhibition game, so this is everybody's first time on this court for a game. And look, 13 new players. There was a lot to sort through with Jay and whatnot, but I think the team did a good job of prevailing and getting, extending the lead there in the second half. It got down to 8, but really stretched it out to 21 and did a really good job of just kind of commanding things from an offensive standpoint. Now, look, defensively is where this team wants to be good at, and I think they were a little disappointing tonight. 46% shooting allowed by Jacksonville. That wasn't good. Coach Lucas mentioned too many paint touches, and Coach Lucas has mentioned that before in terms of that being a high priority for this team, really limiting paint touches. So didn't do a good enough job in this one tonight, but we'll see how this team does moving forward. But let's talk about a few more players. Again, Malik goes 5 of 9 from the floor. Really good guy inside with his left-handed shot, really makes things difficult. And as Coach Lucas mentioned after the game, he feels like Malik is going to be their leading scorer this year, and I agree. I see why he says it. Malik's been a good scorer at Indiana, but also the chances he's going to get there in the paint. And Ernest is typically not going to be a high-volume scorer, but 5 for 5, on some lobs, and it finishes with 14 points. A very vocal guy, spoke to the crowd before the game. I haven't seen I can't recall a player doing that, so that was good. He's just one of these really, a guy that feels very comfortable in a leadership role and on both ends of the floor. And I think his defensive presence is going to be big for this team. Now, offensively, I think that there's still some things that they're going to continue to work on. 3 of 14 from three-point land. I don't feel like this team is going to be a good three-point shooting team. However, on the flip side, they got to the free throw line a ton, which they also did a lot during the 2 close scrimmages. Coaches have praised them for what they did of getting to the line, and they've got guys that can do that. Shelton Henderson, the freshman, earns a start tonight, goes for 15 points. Really downhill guy that I saw at the high school level, and then it translated here. Just a big power body. Again, going downhill, did a good job getting to the basket. Yeah, he kind of finished a 3-point play that was a pivotal point there in the first half. So Sheldon did a good job, and I think he's going to continue to do that. Kind of pick and choose his spots, catch lobs, just kind of finish out the rim. That's what kind of player he's going to be. He did have a nice little 8-foot shot there in the lane, but nothing big from him in terms of a shooting aspect. Now in the backcourt, Trey Donaldson, I think, is going to provide a little bit more scoring, a little bit more efficiency, scoring just 3 of 10, goes for 11 points. He missed a layup right here next to me, and I know he was disappointed in that. Talking to him at Media Day, and I want to recommend everybody to check out that article when he talks about how much he feels like he has something to prove. And then also he said he's got to kill this. Point guards and guards that he's looking forward to facing this year for anybody that's doubted him. So I really like that composure, and I feel like he just really wanted it. It just wasn't one of those ultra efficient nights from him. And then also in the backcourt, True Washington, could knock down a 3-pointer, kind of gets a couple steals. That's going to be his game. And again, all 5 guys going double figures. Dante Allen off the bench, a little bit of a rough night for him, but I think he's going to be a key contributor off the bench. I think Miami's going to go with this 9-man rotation. They got Timo there as well. Marcus Allen kind of provides some versatility on both ends of the floor with what he's bringing to the table. So I think those 3 guys are certainly going to be keys. And then also Altunas, kind of that third big in the rotation. I think that's what they're going to go with, but we'll see how things kind of go moving forward. But I definitely think that this 9-man rotation is good for this team with what they have on its roster. And Coach Lucas talked about, he was asked about rotations and if he had a scripted rotation or did he have to throw it out the window. And he felt like as the game went on, he definitely threw it out the window. Felt like especially Altunas and Timo didn't have as many minutes as he would have liked them to have gotten. And part of that has to do with what Jacksonville did. And look, very close friend of his, Jordan Mincy, coaches Jacksonville. They had a nice embrace after the game. These two have been coming up in the coaching ranks as young coaches and really developed a strong connection. And they were certainly excited about tonight. But Mincy threw out this 1-3-1 zone, and Coach Lucas said he's been watching them for the last 3 years, haven't seen them do that. They prepared for a 2-3 zone, but not the 1-3-1. So it took a little bit of adjustment. And look, that's what coaching's all about, making the adjustments. Malik said it when I asked him about it. He said Coach Lucas did a good job of making adjustments in the second half. Mincy mentioned it as well. So good to see from Coach Lucas, a learning process for him and for all these guys on the team. The Miami's got a quick turnaround on Thursday. They have a tough team coming in Bethune-Cookman, who just took Auburn to overtime. So we'll see how this team looks in a few days here. But overall, just overall positive night for the Hurricanes. Positive start. So many changes with this team, with the program, with Coach Lucas, and with all these new players. But overall, pretty solid. Can't be too disappointed with what you saw tonight. I wasn't with what I saw. And again, they've got to get better. They all know that. Things to work on, especially on the defensive end where they want to hang their hat on, as they've mentioned. But drop in the comments below. Let me know what you thought about this game, what you think about this team, how excited are you for the season. Thanks for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Have a good rest of the day, and take care.